Hi, my name is Marc Esposito. I was recently nominated and invited by Queens College as the Alumni of the Month, which is a really great honor. Really excited to share my experience and insights about what I do now. So I actually attended this school I graduated in 2013 with a political science degree, thinking that I was going to go into law. And during that time, I was working at a nursery, and I really enjoyed working with little kids and babies and taking care of them. And during that time, I ended up working as a high school soccer coach and what's called a DSP, a direct support provider for adults with disabilities, specifically those on the autism spectrum. So during that time, I was working in nurseries, I was working with the adults, and then I ended up getting a job working in schools as a paraprofessional and then a sub-teacher. Very quickly, I loved it, really enjoyed it, and law school kind of started going to the wayside, and I came across the dual MAT program at Queens College, which is a special education and general education program which you would complete in 3 years. And so I said, let's do it. Let me apply, let me see if I can get in. And within a few months, I learned that I got in and started the program. Very quickly learned that it was intensive, it was hard, it was difficult as opposed to other schools, but I really enjoyed the work because I was doing it already a little bit, and then seeing how I could apply what I was learning at work was fantastic, and vice versa, right? Like what I was learning at work was also applicable in school. During that time, I actually was able to get into a competitive internship, which took us to Beijing, China, and it was really exciting. I got in there and flew over with the department chair at the time, who was Dr. Peshi Wang, incredible professor. So we go over to China, Beijing. We go to a school called Wu Sai Lu, and we were there to teach teachers how to do special education using evidence-based practices. And we spoke to parents, we spoke to teachers, we got to work with the students. The age group was about 2 to 4 years old, and their goal was to have those students transition into a general ed setting. So there was a lot of boundaries we had to discuss and dynamics we had to learn about as how to respect, the culture that we were in. Even though we were trying to provide the best of the best in terms of evidence-based care and intervention in a classroom setting, we also had to be respectful of the culture that we were immersed in. So it was really exciting, and then halfway through I actually injured my back pretty badly. And I was able to get out of the country, but I finished my internship there, and I came back and I finished my last year of the program, graduating in 2018. I was actually also nominated and was the recipient of the I can't recall it, the award in teaching, which showed a mastery in both general and special education. I was actually very, very surprised that I got that nomination, but very proud of it and very excited. So I started working in schools afterwards, had a really lovely time working in schools, but very quickly also saw the lack of care I could provide after the students would leave the classroom or would graduate. In special education in New York, at 21, now 22, the individuals graduate out of the system, and they're supposed to be working with OPWDD and fiscal intermediaries to receive services outside of school if they're still seeking once they've graduated. However, that transition is really difficult. They're not always prepared, the families are not always prepared, and I saw that. And once I learned that all my students were kind of falling through the cracks, I felt that it was my responsibility, my personal duty to see if I could try to make a difference outside of that, which I had kind of already done in China. And so I started my own, with the help of a family that I was supporting at the time, my own business, where I get to work with the individual one-on-one, I get to work with the families doing parent training, I get to go into schools and provide professional developments and provide ongoing consulting. I get to do a mixture of that. Simultaneously, I still work as a DSP with an individual. I love working with him. And I'm also starting a position in early intervention. We'll be working with 2 to almost 4, providing ABA support. Now, there's a lot of discussion about ABA, but in my opinion, as long as you're doing the person-centered approach, you're looking at their strengths, you're working with the dynamic, it's pretty exciting. Ongoing, I've also gotten an LMSW with Stony Brook University, and was also in their honors program and was nominated for a few awards there as well. And I encompass all of my education to just be a better provider. That was my goal. I wanted to go to Queens College because I live 10 minutes away. This is the neighborhood I grew up in. Um, I love I love my borough. My goal is to help as many people as I possibly can, but one at a time. And so when I look back at school, at Queens College, my favorite part is everybody here is different. Every background, every type of ability, skill set, journey, goal. And when you're around that all the time learning, it's very applicable to your career or what you want to end up doing. So when I think back at my time at Queens College, I think it was fantastic. I think it was really great. There are a lot of hurdles. There are a lot of challenges. You have to stay on top of it. So it's a good training ground for that. But I think the most important thing, if you're going to think about Queens College as to why it was great, is because of that melting pot. So take the opportunity to get to know other people, learn their stories, see what it's like for yourself, and allow yourself to grow. And I think in all that was my experience and my takeaway. So yeah.